What's up, everybody? That was not supposed to play. I just sat back here and did it to where it would not play that, and it's playing that. But I mean, she is why we're here, right? We are here because of Lori Vallow Daybell and her wicked ways for sure. So let me figure out how to take that down. There it is. And oh, hey, that wasn't supposed to show up either. Man, right? I've been doing this since October of 2021. Still don't have it down, y'all. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. And I'm way up on the screen, right? But thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here. I really do. I'm nervous. I'm nervous right now. So my voice is quivering and I don't know. But anyway, so I just want to read something real quick. And then we'll get down to our regular scheduled program. So, all right, let me stop my camera so Donna don't have to look at me. Anyways, all right. All right, friends, family, and members of my channel of Difficult Research. Tomorrow, the first pitch will be thrown in the state of Arizona as opening statements commence in the case against Lori Vallow Daybell. This day marks a significant milestone in my journey to hold her accountable for the devastating ambush and murder of my beloved uncle, Charles Vallow. On July 11th, 2019, Charles stepped up to the plate, expecting to be at the rental house he so generously provided for Lori, a home intended to foster stability for his children, JJ Vallow and Tylee Ryan. Young lives tragically cut short by Lori's heinous actions for which she has already been convicted. But instead of a routine visit, my uncle was blindsided, ambushed at home plate by Lori's own brother. This was no accidental hit by pitch. This was a calculated fastball aimed directly at taking him out of the game of life. And let us not forget Tammy Daybell, another innocent life stolen, the wife of Lori's current husband, Chad Daybell, the doomsday fanatic now sitting on death row in Idaho for his role in these very same murders. While Chad's stench lingers over his entire ordeal, and while he should also face scrutiny for any involvement in my uncle's death, my focus today and tomorrow remains squarely on Lori Vallow Daybell. He's not even worth the bench-clearing brawl's attention right now. My Uncle Charles was a true team player, a kind, humble, and caring man who loved his wife, cherished their blended family, bled silver and blue for his Dallas Cowboys, and found joy in the crack of the bat and the slide into home. He often spoke of life in terms of baseball, and today, as we step into this courtroom, we carry his spirit with us. Tomorrow, the prosecution will step up to the mound, ready to throw strike one in laying out the evidence of Lori Vallow Daybell's guilt in my uncle's death. We have been in the on-deck circle for far too long, waiting for our chance to see justice served. We believe that the evidence will be irrefutable, each witness a solid hit, each piece of testimony another runner advancing. And in the end, we are confident that the truth will cross the plate, delivering a grand slam for justice. Lori Vallow Daybell will be found guilty. As my Uncle Charles always said, love always wins. And tomorrow we take a crucial step towards ensuring that his love and his memory prevail over the darkness that took him from us. Okay, that was horrible reading. Okay. But anyways, I don't know. I had to do something in baseball terms just to honor him. So thank you for putting up with that. My mouth is dry. I really do appreciate you being here. Thank you. So let me pull my document up. Oh, there it is. Okay. I already did. Let me get it to the top. So, okay. So, right, yesterday we had the whole shenanigans with the damn copyright strikes and everything, all the stuff, right? That was crazy. But I wasn't the only one that had to deal with that, right? And I mean, so I feel bad. I want to apologize to Donna because nothing happened on my side. I was just like, what? I don't know what she's talking about. And I was really hoping that she was tripping. I really did. Because I was like, what? Like it didn't make sense. And I have had this happen to me before when I tried using the Vice. It was a Vice news article. Anyways, not an article. It was a TV. Anyways, it was a clip. And shut me down. I was like, "Holy crap." I wouldn't do it intentionally. I wouldn't think that AZ Family would be putting, like, Dateline standards on their stuff. They were like, "Oh, here's the Jezebel, so everybody's gonna be wanting to dissect it," and we did. Colby was doing it too. We were commenting and everything, and it wasn't good enough. So, instead of, because I had a strongly worded letter, right? I mean, at least I was gonna get that off my chest, even if they wouldn't have blinked twice at it. But so I went ahead. It gave me the option to go ahead and clip them out. It was a bunch of places where they had to clip them out, and like my video was like my live last night, was it last night? Anyways, it was yesterday. Uh, it was like over 2 hours, but then by the time it clipped it all, it was like 1 hour and 35 seconds or 35 minutes. I was like, wow, there you go. So whomever watches it, on replay or whatever, I wonder what that's going to look like. Because, anyways, they should not do that, is what I'm saying. Come on now. This is that thing, okay, that I never cared about, never thought about. It was a non-issue about copyright, about, like, that's my damn family. Like, if she wouldn't have killed my family, you wouldn't have a news story. I don't know. I know it's crazy. And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to get that out. So, anyways, it's tit for tat. So, hey MB, hey Beach Bum, how are you? Hey Donna, Karen, how are you? Family should get a pass, in my opinion, right? I'm telling you, something's going to be, because that really bothers me. I remember researching this a long time ago, and I was just like, this is weird. This is going to be weird. It's going to be a problem. I think it was before the kids were even found, because it's just like, well, okay. Yeah. Anyways, I don't really understand it. I know that it's there for a reason. Copyright. I get it. I'm not wanting to steal anybody's stuff. I'm just wanting to do commentary. They play my clips all the time. Nobody ever knocked on my door or sent me a telegraph. Okay. That's all I'm saying. So it's interesting. Interesting. I don't know how to say your name. I'm not gonna, because I don't know what to do. Yeah, it did. I saw that. And I was like, I mean, he was doing the same thing. Poor thing too. He was like, he said that that interview was the closest that Lori resembled the mom he knew or remembered, and I mean, it was a good interview. I'm like Colby, I feel bad for the interviewer, but I mean that they're trained for this. So, she was a hard hitter, more of a hard hitter than Keith, in my opinion. I mean, if I were to grade them, right, she would get the big paycheck, not him, not this time. But, but it's also like the male-female dynamic, maybe. Do y'all think? We have a running joke in our family that if the Minnesota Twins lose their home opener, then beer cannot be served in Target Stadium. Lost the opener. Oh, wow. It's good to see you, Judy girl. And hello, Jacqueline Knack. Hey, Jet Set Jay. Good to see you. Hopefully a lot of changes in training were done at the police department. I went and looked like a year after all this. And I mean, I was like, well, I don't know what I'm looking for, but I just kind of combed through Chandler. It was Chandler. And really it's Gilbert. I didn't know the difference between the two, different police departments. They do share a jurisdictional line, but anyways, that meant nothing to me back then. I mean, just the FOIA docs, and I'm like, well, they go in a certain order, and it's foreign to me. It's totally foreign. So, anyway, I wish I'd have read it better. I just was not prepared, mentally, I think. Hey, Divergent, good to see you. Thank you, Beach Bum. Thank you, THX 1138. I appreciate it. It is hard. I'm nervous. I'm a ball of nerves. Or not nervous. I'm not like, I don't doubt this is going to be a grand slam. Okay. I don't doubt that. Never have. But it's just the finale, or not the finality of it, because I don't know what it is. And it's been like, I've been trying to avoid this for a long time. Ever since it ended, the trial, she was found, she was convicted in Idaho, and then Chad. And then it's like, oh crap, the next stop is my Uncle Charles. And yeah, I mean, you would think that it would be more of a sore subject. It's not more or less. It's just, I don't know. It was easier to talk about. It is easier to talk about the kids. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. It's like, I don't have to split the pie. It's just God gave me another pie. And he's like, here's a pie of crap. No, you don't say crap, but you know what I mean? Like, here's a pie and you deal with it. And there's no, you don't split them, is what I'm saying. But that's okay. It's part of the process, It's not easy. Anything worth doing is not easy. So, for what it's worth, I'm right here. I'm here to testify. Okay. I'm here to testify. Hey, Shay. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hello, Karen. And Angela. How are you? MMF. What's up? Susan Honecker. I'm sorry. I was jacking that up. It's like some days, it's like mouth gymnastics, okay? And today's one of those days, I guess, which is not good. I've been kind of cooped up today. Hey, librarians, little brands. Hey, Salty Sleuth. I'm so sorry about today. Okay, my brain is over. It's split, okay, for sure. But thank you. I appreciate it. I feel like I was talking over you the whole time, and I hate that. Hate it. I get excited though. It's because it's bulging, like all the stuff. That's why I've gained all the weight that I have. It's all the trauma and all the research that I've done. It's just bottled up, and it just needs to come out. And a lot. It needs to come out more and more and more, more than what I'm doing already. So, it feels better. Hey, Robbie. I just had cops deal with my local handlers. What? Oh, good job. I get it now. Good job. Tell them you don't mess around. You flip buses, right, Robbie? I just hate that Charles was ignored. We all do. It's sad. And I mean, the more I hear that damn interview, I'm sorry. It is an interview. It's like a damn interview. It's like, oh, you want to sit down? Do you need me to fluff your pillows? How about, they're so like, and I mean, the Gilbert police officer he went over and beyond, over and above. It's above his pay grade, and it's above his qualification level too. I'm just saying, it's so, and I mean, I know these things have been out for years now, years. I've had to, anyways, I can't finish the sentence, obviously, but they're harder and they're getting harder to look at instead of easier, because I don't know if everything's just not crowding my mind. And, with the opening statements, opening day too, opening statements happening tomorrow. It's like D-Day, it's like, oh, the time has come. It is a full circle. I agree with my mom big time. It's not closure. It's not, an end. It's just another step. And there's going to be a million more from this day forward, And I don't want to, I tend to pressure myself, because it's like, okay, well, just because this is scheduled and, all the court dates and hearings and everything got us to this point. Okay, that's great. That's process. That's the legal side. Well, my feelings are a whole other issue, They're not synced up with the legal ease at all. At all. So I don't want to pressure myself or feel like I have to do something or have to be somewhere, like have to be in Arizona. Do I have to, what am I doing? And I just want to do well for my mental state of mind and my heart, I mean, Jason, I'd be worried about Jason, I mean, it just, we have this opportunity, we have this technology. Why not? Why not? I'm just an airplane ride away. I'm just, it would be nice to have a road trip. I'm just a road trip away. I didn't lose anything in Arizona. And I don't mean that against anybody, my people who live there. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be her food anymore. I don't want her to suck my energy out. She does it enough virtually. And she will. This is what she does. She sucks the life and the air and the everything out of the room. She does. There's not enough room for me and her ego and then everybody else, right? So if you wanted to know how I feel, right? Hey, Kathy. Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm glad. And you know what I mean? I had to have, and this is no comparison, but it reminds me how scary it was and how important it is to, if you're women, have your breast checked. Okay. That's all I'm saying. This was right after Uncle Charles was murdered, 2019. And then I found a lump, right? But I didn't want to worry my mom I didn't want to worry anybody. So I just kind of, I didn't tell her I had to do I forget what it's even called. I'm sure y'all are writing it now, but, anyways, the pancake thing, holy crap. No fun, right? It'll get rid of the lumps for sure. And that's probably a horrible joke. I never said it was perfect, but I did go and have that done, and it'll come to me eventually, but, and luckily, it was negative, but that was trippy, I was like 40 and it was just very sketch. And so when I did tell my mom, she was like, "Oh, God won't do that to me." And I'm just like, well, I'm just letting you know, she'll do stuff like that. She won't tell me nothing until afterwards. And I'm like, okay, call me. But I hope that you heal up and everything's fine. And, they're overrated anyways. I'm just saying they are over freaking rated and they're heavy and they put dents in your shoulders. The bigger they are, right? And the more real they are is all I'm saying. I'm just saying a mammogram. Thank you. Is it, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to say it. Deanna? I don't know how to say it. I'm gonna call you Reiner. Oh, a mammogram. Thank you. Your first diagnosis was 3 years ago. Wow. Well, it's important though. And look, I need you to help me get my ass to the damn doctor, okay? Just make me go. I can't sit here and preach to anybody because I need to when me and Jason watch this later, Kresha, go to the damn doctor. Kresha from the past said, go. Okay. All right. Anyways, for what it's worth. If I would just take my own advice, right? That's usually half the battle. Hey, Carolina, how are you? Hey, Donna Coggin. Hey, Hope Grace. How's it going? Good to see you. Teresa Moore. I know. Yeah. Why don't y'all tell me, like, roast her right now? Just drop it in the comments. Get rid of it. Don't carry it around. Just, I don't know. We need to, it's good for the soul, I think, to just criticize her. I just really, if there's anybody in this freaking world who deserves the criticism, it is Lori Vallow Daybell. She has knocked years off of our lives, and she is, I've let her. She's dictated my life ever since I found out the day after my Uncle Charles was murdered, July 12th. He was murdered July 11th. Chad, by that time, had already, been on the horn 2 times with the uh, mortuary to try and arrange cremains and get prices and stuff. And then he wants to say Chad Daybell, and what a dummy. He didn't have to interject, and he did. Why? And why is he not sitting over next to Lori at the defendant table? She could lawyer for both of them. Just saying. Hey, thinking of making video of this cult activities that represent the types of RV channeling that were practiced by people who are using. Oh, that's interesting. It is. That's one of the motives for Lori wanting to kill my uncle, was she said that Charles was getting in the way of her gifts. And they were talking nonstop about remote viewing. So for what it's worth, I hope it's fun. Pictures or it didn't count or it didn't happen. Tylee actually has I have a sketch pad that her and Visaya, I just stuttered. Her and Visaya, it was like 2016 in the summer, girls, right? And so there's a bunch of like bubble letters and just little things that they jotted down, and one of the things was pictures or it didn't count. So just saying. Tylee to to Lori. Okay, we're not gonna call her mom, but your daughter, the awesome one that you murdered, she says pictures or it didn't count. It didn't happen. All right. Anyways. Yeah. And they need vindicating, right? Hey, NF mom. Yeah. When she said she was a people pleaser, I about spit my drink across the room. She has clearly shown that she is far from it. No shit, huh? Sorry. Those prisons are full of innocent women eating slop because of some family tragedy. What an evil cell block. But they're all innocent, 5, 6. She was doing like a dance routine and she was like 5, 6, a 5, 6, 7, 8. She said it twice. So that's what we're going to go over because of AZ family. I appreciate their journalism. However, I really disagree with how they chose to go about this with gray media, right? My mama always called me Matilda Gray because there's some grays that live here that are rich. And so I always had to have my purse, and mama used to call me Matilda Gray. Okay. That's all I know. So I don't know if she's part of them grays, but I'm sure I'm sure. I'm sure. Okay. So this, what I did was nothing special. I didn't do anything special. And okay, there's the rest of it. Well, okay. This is the interview, and so I'm just going to read it because my reading is so awesome today. Okay, but I can't get struck for this. I can't have a copyright thing for this, and it needs to be known. I think so. I think it was some good questions. There were some good questions that were asked. Oh my God. Okay. So the interview from yesterday. And I mean, I don't think I didn't upload pictures to, which I can upload pictures. I mean, instead of y'all looking at all this, unless y'all want to see this, do y'all want something, an overlay or something? Or, I feel like it gets boring. Okay. Had to find my way back there. So, all right, it says, okay. And this is kind of just small talk right here. So I'm just going to kind of pass that because they were kind of talking over one another. And so the interviewer says, we're rolling. I've been so curious to talk to you for a long time. First and foremost, I want to ask you, why did you decide to represent yourself at this trial? Lori Daybell says, There's lots of reasons. Obviously being pro per, I'm trying to nail the sarcasm. Anyways, is not an easy job. I'm not an attorney. I do not have training to be an attorney. Didn't she though? Didn't she like tell this to the freaking judge? Like, when she was wanting to represent herself, she was like, I have 15 years trial experience. No, she didn't say that, but she was like, 3 trials. And we're like, where's this third trial? You just have 1 trial down. Girl, what you been doing, And it must be that portaling. It must be that remote viewing job she has on the side hustle. I don't know. Anyways, that just kind of threw me because I was like, girl, you just straight up, you contradict yourself all the time. But anyways, I'm going to try and not interject so much, but it's going to be hard. Okay, because this is why. And she says, so I do not have training to be an attorney. There's something that I figured out when I got to this jail. This experience has been 5 years running. Okay. I went through a whole trial, before in my other state. And she owns states now. Did you know that? Idaho's her other state. She says my. Speaking of possession, right? Anyways. And then I was brought here to Arizona to face some more serious charges. Correct. This is where you started, Lori. And I came here with the intention of having a speedy trial, right? I wanted to, these charges came first, right? So I can't talk as fast as her though. So they're like 5 years old. So I, first talked to the attorneys. I was like, they've had 5 years, the prosecutors to put their case together. And I really want to go to trial. Like we need to go. She emphasized that. And so she continues, she says, so you're in a max pod, with the max women, and there's about 8 women in my pod facing death penalty. And, I was in facing the death penalty in Idaho. I was the only one in that jail because I'm special. No, it doesn't say that. I was the only one in that jail because it was a very small town and a small jail. But here, these women have been waiting for their trials for 5, 6, 7, 8 years to go to trial in a jail. Okay. And then during this experience, I've been in 4 different facilities during this experience, right? Sorry. Because I was shuffled all over the country, right? Came from Hawaii to Idaho to Boise, back and forth. So I've experienced 5 different facilities now. This is the 5th facility I've been in, and it's the worst. Well, write them a strongly word. Like, I don't know if they have a suggestion box there that she can utilize and, get some of this out. I don't know. Just trying to be a problem solver. Interviewer says, what exactly about the conditions bother you the most? Because, and I love this. I was like, I'm here for this. Okay, I'm tuned in. Because, everyone's going to say, what did you expect? You've been convicted of multiple murders. So what were you expecting in this jail? I forgot. This wasn't the right one, but I do appreciate her questions. Lori says, well, the people that are in this jail haven't been convicted of anything that are in the same exact situation as I am. They're innocent. Yeah. I mean, she's rebranding is what she's doing there. So this is rebranding. I don't think she believes it. I just think she's rebranding and she's just trying to manifest. Okay. She's got like a vision board. And yeah. Anyway, so they're innocent. They're innocent right now. And they've been here for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. It's like 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock rock. Okay. Or like a cheerleader, 4, 5. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, she is a mess, y'all. She's going to fade away soon. She's going to fade into the backdrop. Ready to sell her story. And then she's going somewhere where they don't grant interviews. So she's going to be in a pickle. She might want to, well, no, I don't encourage violence. So anyways, the same thing every single day, not going out in the sunshine, not having proper medical care, not having proper dental. If something goes wrong with your teeth, you know what the dentist will do from gel? Same damn thing I do from right here in my trailer, okay? I'm not in that tax bracket, okay? So some of us aren't in that tax bracket to just be getting dental work. Another thing it pisses me off about her is her daughter Tylee she had to be identified by dental records. So shame on her, is all I'm saying. It's not a good thing to say. They pull your tooth out. That's it. Okay, right? With her perfect white, pearlies there. Interviewer says, so oh no, I'm sorry. See, it's mislabeled. This is Lori. Anyway, so you're fighting for the other inmates here who are waiting for their time in court. This is what I found out. Arizona, different from other states. And I only know the 2 states because I've only dealt with 2 judicial systems, right? Okay, so what I am fighting for these women, I'm fighting for these women and trying to set a precedence here. She wants to leave it prettier than she found it. That you can't just leave these women in jail for years because the conditions at the prison, if you do get convicted, are a million times better than they are at the jail. Duly noted. Jails are not designed. They're not designed all over the country. Wait, they're not designed all over the country. Jails are not designed to let you stay long term. The average person in jail goes 3 months. So we need to fact check her. Okay. You're in there for 8 years. You've had teeth pulled out all over. You don't have any kind of thing that you need here. We're going to hear a lot of these generalizations. I do believe this is how Lori talks. And I mean, I used to too, and I still do. So I'm not fooling anybody, but you know how like you can speak in generalizations. She did that. That's how she kind of passed through. It's one of the reasons she passed through her interview in the cops through their fingers, right? Because she would just say, there's just all these threats from Charles. She's saying, there's just all these threats. And she told this to Melanie Gibb too. She was like, well, you saw my email. And she was like, where she said she was going to talk about my mom, how she's going to, whatever. She threats about taking JJ and whatever. It didn't make sense. And she just generalizes, like she just throws something really broad and wide sweeping, and it gets her places. So that's just interesting. Everybody do a shot. Okay. Mine's water. Okay. Let's see. So they're not okay. You don't have any kind of thing that you need here. So I talked to my attorneys. And so this is interesting because, I kind of caught this. I always catch things more and more as I watch because it's like I process what I can. And then once I process all that, then it's like I pick up new things every time. That's why I like watching other creators or other family members even, go over these things because I'm just going to catch new things, or get their take on it. Everybody has different views, and I think that's really interesting. It's helpful. And so this was interesting because we knew that she basically broke up with her previous defense team who wanted to, they actually, were raising the mental health concern, wanting her to get mentally evaluated. And it seemed like she was pissed off at her defense team prior to the one she has now, which is herself. But even just recently, she blamed her defense team, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, just drop it in the comments. But I do believe that she was saying that the people that were working on her stuff before, her defense team, they didn't turn stuff over, and she made it sound like she had done this all by herself. Okay. Like she had just did all this work. And anyways, it's just because things are always somebody else's fault with Lori. That is par for the course here. All right. So I talked to my attorneys and said, I need to go. She's meaning speedy trial. And they said, we can't do it because she went to say it. Okay. And I agreed with them, right? Because they said, in your professional stand, that doesn't make sense. In your professional stand, they want to go to court prepared, right? Of course. I'm a hairstylist. I used to charge tons and tons of money in Austin. I was told, or whatever, the tale was that she made $4,000 to $6,000 a month coloring people's hair. So, for what it's worth. Did I see it in tax returns? No, I did not. So, what did she do with that? Okay, so she used to charge tons and tons of money in Austin, Texas to do hair. So I'm not going to charge someone $400 to do their hair and let them walk out the door and not let it look good because that's my reputation. So she's likening that to her defense team probably wanting her to waive her rights to her speedy trial. And she's like, you got to come on. That's why she's doing this. It's like she's pushing and pulling at the same time. She's very polarizing, right? So I believe this is why, because she will not drop that speedy trial thing at all. It's somebody told her that a long time ago, and she was like, it's her thing, okay? And so she says, so I'm not going to charge. Okay, I already said that. Well, yeah, I will. So I'm not going to charge someone $400 to do their hair and let them walk out the door and not let it look good because that's my reputation. So I talked to my attorneys. I said, quote, I understand where you're coming from. I understand 100%. I don't want to put you in the position where you're saying I can't do a good job for you. I can't do this for you in this amount of time. So this kind of is a huge, right? She doesn't come right out and say it really, but it's never point blank. You kind of have to, I didn't catch it, until I'm reading it. So, all right. So she says, let me move that down, but I've been working on my case for 5 years. So I know my case better than an attorney can learn it in 2 years. But here's the thing, y'all. When you waive your speedy trial, then they can keep you. Then they can keep you here as long as they want. They are intelligent. There are intelligent. This to me, I believe Lori is talking about herself. That's just one way of her being covert, I think. I mean, maybe she's talking about the women too, but it's about herself, I think. There are intelligent, strong, beautiful women in here that have been here for 8 years because of family tragedies. 8 years, right? I guess for family tragedies, they're like, you get 8 years. Anyways, and this is not effing, she don't get to say this, first off, because she is the causer of the family tragedies. I call her a tragedy pimp. This is what she does. And then she plays she'll start all the shit and she will create the chaos. She will murder her whole family pretty much. And then she gets to play the victim. That's like her MO. Like, that's what she does very well too. And this is not her first time. This is, she's really good at this. Switching these roles. And Ruby Franke does it. Jody Hildebrandt, look at her now. Isn't she going pro se right now? I'm like, oh Lord, what are we doing? What's happening? This is not good. We can't have all these propers and sovereigns, and we can't have a bunch of Barry Coxes out there, y'all. It's going to be, I have a vision of new channels popping up covering courts. Okay. Just saying. So she says it's the same. Okay, hold on. There are intelligent, strong, beautiful women in here that have been here for 8 years because of family tragedies. It's the same like my case. I don't think so. A family tragedy, not a crime. That doesn't even make sense. A family tragedy. That's how she says it. And they're facing the death penalty for a family tragedy. I wonder if this is what she thinks about Chad Daybell, because he's death penalty. Is he facing a family tragedy now? Is she rebranding the word murder and homicide? I mean, what's going on here? Is this the same as Gypsy Rose Blanchard saying that she doesn't identify as a murderer. I'm like, well, isn't that rich? Isn't that rich? You can't do that. Stop it. It's like, what are we doing? It doesn't stop softening the terms. They are the terms because this is what y'all picked back in the day with the English language. Whoever had the mastectomy. I can't think of the name right now. Miss Susan? Right? School us on this, please. The word, and what is that though? Just the softening of the words. And I don't like that. I'm not a fan of it. I remember actually thinking to myself, like, I actually did this when everything, after my Uncle Charles was murdered, after Tylee and JJ were found murdered, and Tammy and Joe, just all the things, right? And I mean, I just remember laying in my bed and I was just like, murder. And it was heavy when I said it, when it rolled off my lips, whenever I thought about it, just like, whoa, that is such a heavy, you could feel the weight of it. I could, and so I guess they can too. And so they want to change it, so that they don't look so bad. It's all about image anyways. You have Steven Stearns. I think he was wanting to not, for people in the courtroom whenever he has his trial, like, to not be able to say murder, to say homicide. And I'm just like, wow, narcissists much, and even YouTube. I mean, all the platforms, we have certain words we can't say or we're not supposed to, or we don't get rewarded to the algorithm gods, so I don't know. Some days I feel like I can sell out, or soften them, but then I have to think more. My brain has to operate, or, try and get around the terminology, the keywords, the softening, to make it grape, what I'm saying. And I have to think about those things. And it's so convoluted in my opinion, but enough bitching about that. So again, they're waiting and they're facing the death penalty for a family tragedy. I know these women. I talk to them every day. I try to uplift, strengthen, and help women in this jail. And I think that's the purpose why I'm here. Well, right. I'm so glad you found your next purpose. Okay. Because you've had purposes. So I want to know what Lori, like, what does her prepping look like now for the second coming? Is she still gathering? I mean, where'd that big, huge mission go? Is she finished? I mean, because nothing happened except for, she made people disappear. Anyways, it's just kind of interesting how their priorities, got shifted. Let's just say shifted. So, this is the, and I think that's my purpose, why I'm here. So the reporter says, can you define family tragedy for me? Obviously, this was my favorite. Obviously, you were convicted of killing your kids. Where does that disconnect? Oh my God. And Lori's like, convicted? You believe wrongly convicted? Absolutely. 100%. I'm sorry. It's a little messed up right there. Interviewer. So then how do you address that? You were convicted of it. They're not here. So what happened? Oh my God. Lori says, okay, can we cut just a second? Or whomever, lawyer maybe says, can we cut just a second? And so there's a silent moment of, where Lori looks over at the attorney. There's an attorney there. And I have interesting story about how Lori even got in touch with this reporter to do her this interview because she's on a media tour right now. Jury sat and everything, and she's wanting to do this. It's so crazy. It's bizarre. And okay, yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. To your point, you're not an attorney, correct? You know your case, but you're not an attorney, correct? How do you expect this is going to work for you next week and in these months to come, acting as your own lawyer? Lori Daybell says, I have help. I have a wonderful team that I got to hire, which is great. I have my paralegal. That's wonderful. I have my investigator. I have my advisory council that helps me. I'm just going to do the best that I can. That's all I can do. I'm trying to help the women here. Like something that happens in Arizona that didn't happen in Idaho. Now, this is something, that everybody's paying attention to this. Probably the people in Idaho that are handling her appeal, which I ran across that not long ago, the court papers documents to her appeal. And it was interesting, just kind of look in hindsight at it, because it came out months ago or years ago now. But I'm just like, we need to go over that. Not today, but we will. Something that's different is really, oh my gosh, something that's different is they really respect your right to a speedy trial. So that's what she said about like something that happens in Arizona. Oh, that didn't happen in Idaho. So she's saying, okay, I had it backwards in my mind. So I'm glad I read that over again. So she's saying that Arizona respects your speedy trial right versus Idaho. And she's about to say why. And so I wouldn't waive my speedy trial, and they finally pushed it to trial. Did she forget that she went into the to the mental ward, mental hospital while she was there, delayed it 10 months? We were just as devastated, trust me. Oh my God, it does. The judge does go over, and for any reason, they can move your speedy trial out, right? But here, the first time you go to court here, if your attorney stands up for you and says, quote, oh, we're going to need more time, unquote, because you're supposed to go in 4 months, right? You have a certain amount of time and you're supposed to go in 150 days. And if your attorney says that, we're going to need more time, it automatically waives your right to a speedy trial, which is interesting, right? I mean, that's just a little fun fact, I guess, or a fun Daybell fact, but fact check it. So, I mean, it's just because lingo is important. Legal lingo is important. I've learned this. So the women that are here. Okay. All right. So the women that are here and their attorney say, we're going to help you. We're going to put your case together. We're going to do all this stuff. Generalization. They didn't know the first time that their speedy trial got waived because they're like me. I mean, I was 46 years old when I got arrested, and I'm like, I'm 46. I'll be 47 in a month. Okay. God. Crazy. I've never been arrested before. I didn't know how the judicial system worked. They're this in the same boat. So they didn't actually know at the time that they were waiving their speedy trial, right? I've been in the courtroom for some of this, and then, oh wait, I don't know. This might be the journalist. I'm sorry. Yep, this is the journalist. Anyways, all right. I've been in the courtroom for some of this, and then I've watched it as well. When you're addressing the judge in the state, you can get a little snappy with them, and I know you're upset with what you feel as witnesses that are being precluded from the trial. What's your biggest complaint? What do you want to see happen? And is that the tone that you want to take throughout this trial? Right? Lori needs to learn how to read the room. Okay. Yeah. Excuse me. Lori says, I don't think I'm trying to set a tone. I kind of, that's not my intention, is to set a tone. And I'm not a fighter. Right. Okay. So my whole life, I've been a peacemaker, which was an interesting word. We won't get stuck on that right now. I'm a person that loves everybody, a person that gets along with everybody. I don't like to fight. So this is a challenge for me to even fight for myself, to fight for these women, to kind of stand up for the first time in my life, because I'm kind of been, MMF mom. And then, oh my gosh, you ready for this? NF mom. Stutter. I'm a people pleaser by nature, and it's been really difficult for me. But there's so many wrongs in the system. There's certain things that your attorneys won't say for you. She's pissed right here, in my opinion. Let me move this down so I can keep my spot. Your attorneys. No, I don't think I did. All right. I'm a people pleaser by nature, and it's been really difficult for me. But there's so many wrongs in the system. There's certain things that your attorneys won't say for you because here's their problem. She better lay it out. Your attorneys, they're professionals, right? So they're colleagues with the prosecutors, they're colleagues with the judges. And I'm just thinking this right now. You know how Lori is watching Nate Eaton interviews. Remember her saying that? And I remember watching one recently. Maybe it wasn't that one. I don't know. Fill me in. Um, I don't know where I saw it. I think it was a different one though, but it was with Ray Hermosillo and Rob Wood. And so I might have them mixed up, but they were talking about how, John Thomas is, no, it was Nadine because he said John Thomas was his neighbor. So did she just learn that and watching interviews, of Nadine's? It's just interesting. I always said they go and hang out at the country club or whatever, because I mean, they live in a community, and that's what people do who don't kill people in their community. They get to participate in it. Just throwing that in there, Lori. Your attorneys, they're professionals, right? So they're colleagues with the prosecutors, they're colleagues with the judges. And I get that because I've worked in a professional environment. Okay, where is what I want to know. Where? In her home office, Charles's home office. So I get that. You have to be, they argue their points, and then they go out to lunch. Like, I get that, right? I'm not doing that. She don't get to go play, is what she's saying. She's pissy, like bad. She's throwing a fit. I'm fighting for my life here, really. Why didn't she fight for her life in Idaho then, if she's just so staunch on helping herself, which we know she's really good at, in my opinion. And through Tracker, she's got a good record there of proving she makes a mess of things. So, okay, it says, I'm fighting for my life here, really. Interviewer says, there's this notion from people in the public that feel you're representing yourself because you have nothing to lose. That this is a challenge, kind of a show, a game for you. Do you agree with that? Lori says, I never hear any of this stuff. If she's watching Nate Eaton's, and she has heard many, there are so many interviews and feedback, lawyers, appearances. I mean, just saying. Her damn judge who sentenced her, Judge Boyce, he kind of served it up. She won't take anybody's advice because she didn't do anything wrong, right? I'm in a room 23 hours a day, and we don't have any access to any kind of news. So how the hell did she know about court TV then? Okay, I want to know how she was watching court TV, or are the flying monkeys coming back and telling her stuff? Which, yeah, I bet on that too. So, or any kind of anything like, I'm sorry. So, or any kind of anything really like, so I didn't know that people were saying that, but I wouldn't agree with that, obviously. Interviewer, what's your mindset going to trial? What do you believe now? And how do you feel as we're just a couple days away? You'd swear I'm licking a salt block. Okay. And this is interesting. So she says, a little bit stressed. It's a big case. It's stressful. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of legal things that have to be done. That whole broad thing again. We're working on stuff every day. We're working late into the night. The biggest challenge for me in this trial will be the logistics. And I'm like, you don't have to drive. So that's not on your list. But is it because you're having to wear the zappy belt? I'm just asking. I want to know. Anyways, and we all want to push the button. We all want to push that button. Okay. It'd be like when you go to the carnival and they have Bozo the Clown, you have to take the baseball and you like have to, and he's like cackling everybody. And that's what Like, they could make a lot of money, like a raffle to raffle off who could zap her ass. I'm just saying. Oh my God. They would make a lot of money. Straight up. Did y'all see Shabusiness? I was like, oh my God. I needed that yesterday. It's not funny. The situations aren't funny. These are serious situations, but oh my God. I forget her first name, but Shabusiness is her last name. And she like her attorney didn't even move, but she like charged him and it sounded weird what she said. She's just out of nowhere. And she charged and I laughed. I snorted a little bit. It was funny. Oh my God. I was watching Reporting Live from my sofa. It was hilarious. Go check it out. Okay, so she says, that's what she said. She said a little bit stressed. It's a big, I already said all that. We're working on stuff every day. We're working late into the night. Again, she's a translated being. She doesn't have to eat, sleep, shit, pee, none of that stuff. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get through it. So shouldn't she have 24 hours a day? I mean, I'm just asking. I thought translated beings had all this, free, all this play, all the things that take us time. Anyways, the biggest challenge for me in this trial will be the logistics. I want to be able to, so this is it. Okay. I want to be able to go and talk to the people who have stood up and lied about me. And I remember the lied about me part, but she wants the logistics. What is she planning? Is she planning anything? I mean, she has free range pretty much, more than I'm comfortable with. I'm just saying. People are like, oh, you ain't got to worry about Lori. I've heard, people who, or Law and Crime or Court TV, guests that show up on the, there's some people who are like, we ain't got to worry about Lori. And I'm like, oh, hell no. She killed her kids. Okay. Straight up. She doesn't play fair. So, you watch that one. I get to face them face to face, just like she claims she did with Jesus, right? I think that's important. So the hardest thing is here. They wake you up at 3 a.m. in the morning. She's translated to go to court every single day. And you sit and you sit and you sit and you wait. But you're woken up and you're transported and you're getting back to the jail like 5 and 6 at night. I'm going to have to prep for the next day for my witnesses. I'm going to have to meet with people. She's beefing up her resume as we speak. Okay, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to have my, paralegals going to come over. We're going to get paperwork ready. We're going to get, our stuff ready for the next day. So the hardest thing, it'll be lack of sleep. She's effing translated. I like to really hold their words against them, is what I'm saying. I'm being sarcastic. Nobody does good with lack of sleep. We'll just leave that there. Interviewer, are you worried about the legal things you don't know? Lori says, obviously, there's lots of legal things that I don't know. I have been studying a lot, the law. I've been studying it for 5 years. I've been talking with attorneys. I had a team of 11 people in Idaho, some really, really smart people. People were brought in all over the country from different states and everything because I was, I was death penalty case, right? Still should be. Anywho, crap. There it is. And so I learned from a lot of people. And she says, I'm smart. I'm a smart person. I paid attention. I consider myself an intelligent person. Well, why don't you say it one more time? Like a lot of these other women here in this jail. And, I'm going to skip all that stuttering. We're trying to do the best that we can. I know it's not going to be perfect the way an attorney would do it. So that's when people say, like, she has nothing to lose. Like, I don't necessarily think that I'm going to do a better job. The way she talks, like she doesn't do contractions at all. So she sounds like a freaking machine gun. And I can't do it. Um, she's okay, trying the best she can. So that's when, no, wait, whoa. I know that's not going to be perfect the way an attorney would do it. So that's when people say, like, she has nothing to lose. I'm sorry. Like, I don't necessarily think that going to do a better job than the attorneys can do. It's That's not my intention. My intention is to say the things that I would say for myself, which is interesting. I mean, I sat there during a whole trial and I discussed a lot of things with my attorney. She's talking about Idaho attorneys, and asked them to say very specific, certain things that were important to me just as a person, as a human being. These things are important that you say this for me, and they wouldn't say it. So, I mean, she didn't pay them either. So, can we just say that? They had to see this shit too. Anyways. So, and I get the professionalism and I get what they're doing, but sometimes you just have to be able to do it for yourself. Interviewer, you want to be your own voice. And she says, yeah, going over your case and all of it for years. I mean, it seemed like you had the life that so many wanted in Arizona. You had it all. I loved our life here, which threw me for a freaking boomeranging, okay? Because I will come back. I mean, it's like, what does someone do who hates their life then? I mean, because it's stark. It's a stark difference. It's inverted for sure. Does she? Maybe we need to go over some. Just that would be awesome to go over definitions at the beginning of every court date. Every trial day, and just be like, okay, what is what's your definition of this or whatever? See, I'm being general. I loved our life here. Yeah. Why are we here? Oh, that's the interviewer. Damn it. Like, why are we at the place we're at now? You had that life. Why throw it away? That was the interviewer. Lori says, it's tragedy. Families have tragedies. Things happen. And there was a domino effect, which I don't like this word, of tragedies in my life. And that's really sad. Interviewer, what do you describe that domino effect of what? Lori says, it's probably something that we should say for next time. Meaning, she said that to Keith. She said that to this lady here. So she's wanting to do this. So I say there's going to be some more, that's all I'm saying, because she has to get it out of her system before she goes back to Idaho. She'll have Brandon's trial after this, but I'm just saying, everybody clear your calendars. Not. So interviewer says, do you still believe in those things of the dark and the light spirits and the zombies? Is that still part of your belief system, or have you changed your beliefs? And then Colby said, he, like, I guess read her lips a little bit, and it kind of looks like I never said that, as she might have said, but they muted it again and the attorneys jumped in, blah, blah, blah. And so hard pass on that question, which is interesting. We're going to find out again. This is about Chad Daybell. Do you consider you and Chad still together? Now, I talked to Megan earlier. Megan called me earlier, and I'm glad, because we got to just touch base and kind of, we're going through this on this side of it, on the family side of it. And it's like, it's cool to identify with other people going through the same stuff you're going through, so I'm glad that she called, because I don't think about reaching out to anybody. I'm horrible about it, but so I'm glad that she did. But Megan told me earlier that, and I've heard other people say this too, who were there and reported on it, jury selection and stuff. And so when Lori was up at the podium, Megan said that Lori, went to ask a question, and then, she started to testify basically on the stand, like you would do in church, basically. And I'm Lori, blah, 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 and I'm 51, and the judge stopped her, right? And then just kind of redirected her a few times, because she's we just heard her say this right here, that she wants to tell her side of the story, basically. And so she said that Lori like looked down at the podium and like took a while. She said she tucked her hair behind her ear. She looked up and she said that still took her a while. And that she kind of said, and Megan, and then she said that she started to ask a whole different question than what she had started out initially. So Megan said that I definitely saw the mask, well, the face too, but the mask slide off a little bit. And so this is where I see a little slippage of the mask, if you will. And we need this. I do. I need Lori to not be embracing her new mission, okay? To not be grandstanding, like just trying to. Melanie Gibb did the same thing. She basically used my family murders as props in her, or like a feather in her cap or something, like it gained her favor, and whom she doesn't, in my opinion, she doesn't worship my Jesus. I'll tell you that. In fact, they blaspheme the hell out of him, and it's disgusting, and they're okay with that. So I don't want them to glorify this. Ruby Frankie did the same thing. It's disgusting. It's really gross. So, like, because God didn't put you here either. Okay. First off, that's what it's like. No, ma'am. He's not, in my opinion, God is not here to make you, he's not here to be mean to you, like he's not here to make you abuse children or kill them, or your husband, or your husband's, wife, Tammy, all the people, right? And so that's not, no, that's not God. That's you control freaks who are talking to something, somewhere, somehow. It ain't God. I can promise you that. Anyways, so Chad Daybell, do you consider you and Chad still together? And so this was interesting to me because Lori was like, sure, of course. It's like she didn't like this at all. I don't believe she didn't look like she felt comfortable answering this question. And so the interviewer says, and how is that going to work with you? He's on death row and you are in prison for life. How do you continue that relationship, that marriage, in the best way that you can? Thirsty. Lori says, and it's just interesting. She says the only way they can hang in, and then she kind of said can again. So I don't think it got the stutter words here, but it's like the second time she said can, she just kind of, I don't know. I saw her voice cracked. She didn't look it sucked the life out of her, basically. Or maybe she ran out of air. I don't know. But I don't know. Let me know what you think. I probably didn't explain it good enough because that's missing. The only way they can hang in. And it's like she repeated it too, like can hang or whatever. Anyway, so interviewer says, what do you think people have wrong about you? Lori says, pretty much everything. Like what specifically? Asked the interviewer. Lori says, I don't really know what people think because I don't have access to the kind of media that you guys are watching, all these things. I never get to watch anything. I'm mad, right? Her's just mad. She's in the corner. She don't get to watch TV. She don't get to go play with her friends, right? I never get to watch anything. So I hear things from different people. I get text messages from people saying, quote, oh, so-and-so said such and such, unquote. And I'm like, quote, okay, I don't have access to what the people know. She's a translated being. They should be like really intelligent and all knowing. So I kind of can't clear it up because I kind of don't know what it all is. If she's watching Nate Eden interviews, she knows what the hell it all is. She just cannot read a room at all. Cannot. She's not like, oh, maybe I'm the asshole ever. She's never the asshole. It's everybody else. It's so crazy. If the interviewer says, if you could clear something up right now, what would it be? Lori says, and I quote, that I love everybody, that I'm here for a purpose. I think, God put me here in this jail, the worst jail in the country, they say, and I really can't argue it. But when I got here, the girls were like, quote, did you know that you got brought to the worst jail in the country? And I was like, I can't argue it's not. Where'd he go? Okay, that it's not. But he brought me here to help uplift and strengthen these women. What about her freaking daughter and her son and her husband? Why couldn't she uplift them? Instead of never mind. It's like beating a dead horse. To strengthen these women, and that's what I try to do every day. I taught I'm a certified, y'all. I was like, oh shit. Is she about to say I'm a certified mental fitness trainer like Ruby? I was about to check out. Okay, but she says I'm a certified group fitness instructor. Colby said, yeah, when I was like 14, or something like that. And I was like, that it's an everlasting. Sorry. I'm laughing because it's everlasting. Okay. It's for me. It's an eternal, it's a, oh my gosh. Where'd it go? Right here. She's let's see. She's an eternal certified group fitness instructor. Okay. From eternity to eternity. And I worked here at Fitness Works and taught aerobics. And so I teach a workout to the girls every day. We laugh together. We cry together. We pray together. Oh, shit. We're all in our separate cells. We're in there 23 hours a day. So we just talk to each other through the cell doors and the toilets, right? No, I don't know. I'm sure. Like each of us get out an hour a day and we can talk to each other through the door. We have to take our shower and whatever. But this jail, some days you'll be in your cell for 3 days. They go on lockdown and you don't get out for 72 hours. You're just in your room. So I'm just here to help strengthen these other women. Sometimes God needs somebody to go into the trenches. And I think he put me here for that purpose. So who elevated you and exalted you, and again, elevated you, okay, to help Christ usher in the second coming of Jesus, okay? But this is God, so they think they're separate anyways, but anyway, for what it's worth, okay, so yeah. All right, interview says, a follow-up question to what you said, that you love everybody. Does that include your children? I was like, boom, smack. Right? We are here for it because, and this is what this hooker says. Absolutely. I love my children. I've always loved my children. There's never been a question, even being convicted of killing them wrongly. Oh, I'm sorry. Even being convicted of killing them wrongly. Of course. Interviewer says, do you plan to take the stand yourself in your own trial? Take the stand yourself in your, okay. Lori says, haven't decided yet. Don't need to decide that. Legally, you don't have to decide. So we're going to see how it goes. She's getting her feel by doing these interviews. She's getting it out, in my opinion. And so the interviewer says, and that would be a situation if you did decide where your investigator or somebody would ask the questions to you on the stand. Lori says yes, and they say okay. That was my okay. Hold on, I gotta go up here. I'm gonna go check on y'all too. Come on, because it didn't finish. That's why I was like, oh crap. There's the rest of it. See how it's just loose. I took it from YouTube and just copied and pasted it over here. Okay. We're pretty much at the end, so thank God. Water's not doing it. Okay. Sometimes God needs. Oh God, so sorry.
Sorry, I wanted to break in just for a minute. I'd hate to mess up your groove here, but tomorrow the trial starts for real. I know.
I know, right?
And so we've got Trace and her daughter and some other people that are all reporting. And so I wanted to put up Trace's
Well, I gotta give her my Twitter stuff too.
but
I
I'm going to
didn't.
give her a Vimo. And if anybody
Oh,
wants to
Venmo.
buy
Okay.
her some lunch,
Yeah, some spending
because
money. Mhm.
yeah, because it's I
Just
know it
because,
costs
just
yeah, it
because.
costs yes, and she's
If
doing a
anybody
great one
wants
for us.
to, she's
I
not
don't know how to
asking
spell
for it.
Vimo right.
Huh?
I was trying to put it in her Venmo. Okay, I was like,
Venmo.
you need to
Mhm.
spell it right, Donna.
Well, yeah, that's cool. And so what Trace, I mean, I haven't looked at my phone at all today. Well, I have, just not my messages, but um I wanted to know if, I mean, the last I talked to Trace, it was just if I give her my credentials, she's gonna log in under my name on X, Twitter X or whatever. And while she's in there, she can keep better track of notes, right, with the trial, what's going on. And so when they kind of get lost in the sauce, in the chat. So she'll have them kind of in. She can do
Right,
both places if she
and
chooses to. We can pull them up.
it's gonna get kind of hairy too because we'll start earlier with tracing them telling us stuff that's going on in the and so then whenever we're able to get the feed, they will still be giving us like tweets, but they will be from the future of the video that we're watching. It's going to be
Yeah, that's a
gonna be
weird
tricky.
thing, though, huh?
It's going to be
It
tricky
is
tomorrow,
weird.
but look,
So
y'all,
this is
it will really help them out if you can log in and send Trey some lunch money or snack money. And you know what? I thought, oh, I'm going to try to do this. And I can't do nothing without a dang my phone because all of my
it sucks.
secondary things bring back to that damn phone. Ah,
Right? I remember when mine was out of commission. Yeah,
oh, it's a
it
terrible
really
thing.
sucks. I
Well,
was like,
anyways,
"Wait."
I'm going to put this in the regular chat and get out of your way.
Oh, okay, I
And
see it now.
also, I downloaded that interview and I put it through a like a filter and it made it posterized, but we still would probably get it may not even be a copyright thing. It might be that they made it unavailable while they were working on it. You know what I'm saying? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, we need to edit that. And they made it unavailable while they were, I don't know what happened, but
Yeah, they were copywriting is what they were doing, so it's whatever. They can have it, so I'll just sit here and and torture you guys with my reading.
oh
Okay.
no,
Oh,
it's
I mean, we're
something
gonna have
we,
to listen to her enough, right?
oh my God.
I thought it important that, just to say what they're saying, because I mean, I don't catch a lot of things, so it helps me, helps it stick to my ADHD brain. But yeah, I like what Trey said. I'll be the spoiler. Bring it on,
Yes,
girl.
yes.
But we
And Trace
appreciate
will
you.
be telling us who to she's going to come on and she can thank whoever's buying her lunch and
Yeah,
all that.
you can come on anytime. Anybody can. All right, just let me know.
Yes, it'll be
This isn't
great for
just
you
for
to
me.
do
This
that.
is, anybody ever needs the mic, let me know. Okay. And I want to start doing maybe some interviews with people who are, uh, have suffered ritual abuse, we'll just say, and just try to work that angle too, because I think that people need to lend them a microphone. And yeah, anyways, enough of
Yes.
that, and we'll talk about that later. But I will go for sentencing for sure. I don't know. I wasn't thinking. I was all this time, all these years. I have like, yes, I'm going. But then right around what, March 30th, I was just like, but why? And I'm gonna be worried about Jason. And oh my god, I'm gonna have to fly there. I'd rather drive there. And then I just started kind of thinking of all the things. And I hate courtrooms. I do. I hate courtrooms. And I guess having Chad's trial last year, where we could log on and hang out and go through this together right here, I can process things more easily. I can't process if all my senses are going off because that's just me. I'm a very spiritual, I'm feelings, okay? So it's like I remember how overstimulated it made me feel whenever I went to Idaho and sat in the room with her and just all the people. It's just so it's not my thing. It's just not my thing. And I just want my energy. I don't want her to just suck it out of me. Not so easily. Now, that can change anytime. Like I may feel froggy. Who knows? But I'm just trying to listen to myself, like listen to my body. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to just force things like Lori did. Oh, thank you though. I appreciate that. Yeah. So having Chad's trial the way it played out, then it just kind of it made me feel way more comfortable. And I mean, this is this same for well, I'm not gonna share, but I don't want to share somebody else's stuff. But hey Emily, how are you? Yeah, right. Thank you so much. Y'all, she's one of the sweetest moderators. She moderates for Paul with Reporting Live from My Sofa. Just always so sweet. Always, always, always kind and supportive. And I just want to thank you, Emily. Miss Emily, right? So it's refreshing to see someone who I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just winging it. I don't know. It just seems right. It feels right. So it's not like I get to go hang out with it's not like a family reunion or like I mean, I would love to see Trace. I would love to see and meet Joe. I would love to I would and I will, hopefully, like I plan on it. Um I do want to be there for sentencing. That I can, deal with and it's worth it because I would love to go visit where Uncle Charles was shot. I would love to go not inside, you know what I mean? Kind of like everybody does, goes by the Rexburg apartments and Chad Daybell's property. It's just to see it firsthand. I've never been to Arizona. The farthest west I've ever been was Odessa, Texas. And I was like, oh my God, I need trees. I need trees and grass. And I also heard about scorpions. I don't even know what to do with that. So it looks like it kind of has the same shell or whatever. I don't even know. See, it looks like something you'd boil crawfish here. It looks like a crawfish. I'm just saying, no, 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 don't do the scorpions. They don't even look cool. And anyways, we'll talk about that another time. So, but let me. Okay, go back over here, Crush. And then crap up because I put it on this one. So I just got to find my tab. All my tabs are always open. Like Lori's legs. Anyways, all right. I hope you laughed. I hope it made you chuckle. All right, my lips are dry now. Okay. Oh, anybody that is going to the courtroom, I've asked Trace, I've asked Megan. I'm like, even give it to the guys. Joe, I want you to do this too. Please take one for the team. But Lori bitched and bitched and bitched and was so like Valley Girl over. She says Charles stole her purse. And then she's like, I just want my lip gloss out of it. And so I just want you to slather it on because she's got to like make hers. It's interesting. So just every chance you get, even if you don't need it, just slather, get you some chapstick. Just be like, okay, just do that for me. And then if she's ever cuffed, always just do this. Just stretch because she's worried about logistics. Okay. It's bugging her. She said it in this interview. So, and I'm here for it. Anyways, if anybody want to know how petty I am. Okay. So, okay, let me get to. So she's always loved her children. It says preparing for trial. Do you plan to take the stand yourself in your own trial? She says, oh, we already said this. Haven't decided yet. Don't need to decide. Legally, you don't have to decide. So we're going to see how it goes. All right. And that would be a situation if you did decide where you're I already said all this too, where your investigator or somebody would ask the questions to you on the stand. Yes. Okay. Okay. All right. that that was my understanding too. I just want to make sure I was correct on that as well. Lori, I think, says, well, my understanding is that oh my gosh, the advisory council would have to do that. Yeah. So they're just kind of going back and forth, but I would have to write the questions. They can't ask me anything that I don't, and you have to pre-submit those. You can't just, I'm sorry, this sucks. You can't just go up there and say what you want. Amen, right? Everybody, yay. Right? Everybody cheer because she can't just go up there and say what the hell she wants. I don't know. Do we want that or no? I wanted to hear her say something, but I definitely did not want to hear what she said at her allocution. I definitely did not want to hear what she said when she talked to her son. It ain't even about an interview. She's had all these years to think about talking to her son again, connecting with him, trying to salvage something, right? No, no, no. She came in hot and she had 4 years or however many years to come up with something. And that's what she came up with was her conspiracy theory about Tylee and JJ and how they died. So yeah, I don't really like when Lori talks. However, it gives me clues. It gives me more insight and answers to the puzzles that she creates. The tragedy puzzles. Ooh, we need tragedy puzzles. Okay, correct. That's my understanding. That was my understanding. It was my understanding as well. Okay. This is probably one of the more unprecedented situations you were involved in choosing your own jury as a non-attorney. What was that process like for you? She says, that was an interesting process. I mean, it went way better than I thought it was going to go. The process in Idaho was so different. It was interesting for me because it was so different. And, I have had that experience. She's one of those that been there, done that, and got that t-shirt. So I was like, I kind of know what's going to happen here, but in every state is different, right? Every county is different. Everyone's going to have their own rules of how they did it. I have to say that I was pleasantly surprised that the judge was very fair in doing the jury selection in some ways. So I think it went really well. It went really fast. I didn't expect that. I don't think none of us did, right? Go Bareski. That he's beast. I thought it would take a long time. So I feel like it went as well as it could go. Are you nervous for Monday? The interviewer asked. She says, see how it goes. I try not to get nervous about things and go with the flow as much as possible. It's not just Monday. It's like every day. It's going to be day after day. So I got to kind of pace myself. Why? She's getting old, huh? And just do the best that I can. Do you believe you can convince this jury to find you not guilty? This was interesting to me. Like just this. I don't think I'm here. I'm sorry. I don't think I'm there to convince anybody. I think I'm there to just tell the truth. Right? Again, maybe go over some definitions of what truth is. Anyways, wouldn't that be your goal, though, as your defense attorney, to be found not guilty? I think that's the goal. Yeah, that's the goal of everybody, but I'm not trying to convince anybody. So this is like, well, then what are you doing? So what are you doing? Like that's, if you're not sitting there trying to sway a jury, that's the whole point. The whole freaking point of the system, this process, okay, due process, your speedy trial, okay, is this. It comes down to this. So you're fighting for your life. You just said it earlier. It's like, what are you doing, nerd? Anyway, so she's like, but I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm defending myself against being wrongfully accused, so wrongfully accused of Charles's death as well. Oh, wait. So wrongfully accused of Charles' death as well. That might have been a question. I don't know. Yeah, it was. All right. So my bad. So the interviewer says, so wrongfully accused of Charles's death as well. Question. All right. I'm just trying to do this. Absolutely. So the interviewer says, what do you want the jury to take away from you during this trial? I want the jury to take away her damn freedom over here again. Right. That if anybody was asking. All right. So what does Lori want the jury to take away from this trial? I don't know that they can take anything away. I mean, I don't really have an answer for that. I haven't really thought about it. She's had all this time, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 20,000 years, right? And she don't think about this. She thinks about some weird things then, right? I don't really have an answer for it, that I haven't really thought about it from that perspective. Are you prepared for life behind bars? She's got 3 life sentences in Idaho, consecutive, right? For them translated years, them exaltation. Sure. What do you do to prepare that to be the rest of your life? My life, she is telling the truth here. My life is mostly over because I'm 51 years old. I was like, oh my God. Oh, Granny Mole, huh? I have to light a cigarette, y'all. I think it's why I'm thirsty. So sorry. I will hide my face for a second. Let me smoke. Going to the break room. Okay. Thank y'all for being so patient with my ass. All right. I'm a mother and no, you were a mother, honey. You were a mother and you were a grandmother. You forfeit. Okay. You sacrificed all that and all those things. I've had a wonderful life. I did have a wonderful life for, a long time. So I think this is the, I forget what to call her, the reporter. So it's just a different life. No, it's not. Okay. So it's just a different life, in my faith. Oh, here we go. Right. I was like, oh my Lord, here we go. Testify. Mm-hmm. All right. It's just a different life, in my faith, which means she's still she considers herself a Latter-day Saint and not a Church of the Firstbornian, okay? Because it don't exist. From my studies, it does not exist. It's a title. Church of the Firstborn was never going to be. Not because they got arrested and convicted. It's because it doesn't exist. It's just a title. It's like they went through this maze, okay, that they had to do together. Polygamy is what it is, okay? Polygamy. Once you do this polygamous ceremony that does still take place. You can say you don't do it. You can say you don't believe that anymore. You don't practice that principle anymore. But, by ye fruits, in my opinion. Okay. So that's just me about the church. Okay. I don't think it ever stopped. Anyway, so I believe the church is the reason why Lori and Chad are together, if you will. Okay. I mean, of course, they didn't force them to do anything. It still goes on Lori and Chad's, what they say in LDS religion is your free agency or free will. They could say no at any time. They could have been like, no, not my wife, not my kids, not my husband. But they were balls to the wall. And you bet your ass there would be so many more victims. My mom probably being one of them. Adam, Zach, Barry. I mean, sky was the limit, right? They were like, all right, that's 24 in the text messages between Alex and Lori when they were talking about the Z's. They were like it's like somebody gave them a mission. I don't think they appointed themselves their own mission. I think somebody had given their mission. Okay. And I believe maybe you have to kill so many people. I don't really know. I wasn't there, but anyways, I don't think it's just them being really crazy all together at the same time. I don't think so. But All right, let me hush. All right, so we're in my faith, we're called on missions to go do things, and I've had this kind of scenario in my mind that's dangerous, that I was like, if my bishop called me in, which yours won't answer his damn phone, right? He won't come testify. Gabe Benia called me in and said, we have this really hard calling for you. Isn't that what she said Jesus did? I mean, didn't she say in 2017 she met Jesus? Or no, Satan. My bad, that was Satan. How many people have met? How many in this chat have had, interactions with Satan? Is what I want to know. And I'm no judgment. It's interesting, right? I just want to get to the bottom of this crazy stuff. I was like, if my bishop called me in and said, we have this really hard calling for you. It's basically a calling is a mission. It's going to be for the rest of your life. And right. And you're going to go into this prison and where all these women are, and you're going to help and uplift and strengthen women and give them faith and help them carry on and do these things and help them get ready for when they get out of prison. She says, you're going to be there all the time. Oh no, this is still Lori. I guess. You're going to be there all the time and you're going to be there for the rest of your life. Will you accept this calling? Would you say yes? Absolutely. So you feel this is kind of a newfound purpose with the situation you're in? Asked the interviewer. Absolutely, she says. What do you want to, the interviewer says, what do you want to impress upon people that have followed you in your case for years? Like right now, we've got a few minutes left. I want to know, what should the public know about Lori that they don't know? Oh my God, let me take a drag. Miss Emily, did you bring any extra sofa seat belts? Because we need to buckle the hell up. Just asking. Oh my gosh, because she says that I'm a Christian person, that I love the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and that I'm here on earth to do whatever he needs me to do. I really appreciate your time. Yeah, I will see you in the courtroom on Monday. End of interview. Yay, we made it. But I just kind of caught this right here. Remember how she told Keith that her and Chad were going to be exonerated, right? She saw it. She saw it in her mind again. And so this right here, she's saying how God's given her this mission again, right? And so she goes through the whole thing. She says, it's just a different life, in my faith, we're called on missions to go do things, and I've had this kind of scenario in my head that I was like, if my bishop called me in and said, just pretend the bishop is Jesus. Okay. Or God. And, shit, I need to quit losing my spot. If my bishop called me in and said, we have this really hard calling for you, it's going to be for the rest of your life. Okay. I don't see exonerated in here is what I'm saying. Okay. She contradicts herself a lot. And you're going to go into this prison where all these women are, and you're going to help and uplift and strengthen women and give them faith and help them carry on and do these things and help them get ready for when they get out of prison. You're going to be there all the time, and you're going to be there for the rest of your life, Lori Daybell says. Okay? So that's no exoneration in the cards for her, according to her. Lori, according to Lori. Will you accept this calling? Would you say yes? She says absolutely. So she needs to hush. So the interviewer says, so you feel this is kind of a newfound purpose with the situation you're in? Absolutely. All right. So there is that. Hold on. I forgot about something. I also did an analysis of it. Just remembered. And I know that I think Colby's on Hidden True Crime. They're in the algorithm, trust me. Okay, let's enter. Okay, so analysis of Lori Vallow Daybell's statements. Several of Lori's statements can be interpreted through the lens of the belief discussed in the PDFs. Family tragedy, not a crime, and wrongly convicted. This denial of guilt despite convictions could be seen as aligning with the belief that events are part of a larger, divinely ordained plan. In an extreme interpretation of reincarnation and exaltation, actions might be rationalized as necessary steps toward a higher purpose, even if those actions appear criminal to others. She says, I'm here for a purpose. God put me here in this jail to help uplift and strengthen these women, unquote. This messianic complex, God complex, right? Where she believes she has a divine mission within the jail resonates with the potential for a distorted view of exaltation. If she sees herself as a chosen vessel on a path to godhood, right? Her current circumstances might be reinterpreted as a test or a necessary part of her journey to become like God. Quote, in my faith, we're called on missions to go do things. Will you accept this calling? Unquote. This reflects the Mormon emphasis on callings and missions, but she applies it to her imprisonment. This could connect to the idea of a preordained path. Foreordained is what they call it. Possibly through multiple lives, as suggested in the Dewey document, where current suffering has a greater purpose. I combined the interview with some documents that are on multiple mortal probations written by Dewey here. And I think that was it. Okay, but that tracks where current suffering has a greater purpose, right? Mm-hmm. So do you still believe in those things of the dark and the light spirits and the zombies, unquote? While she doesn't directly answer, the question itself points to the extreme beliefs she was known to hold. These beliefs, though not supported by mainstream Mormonism, allegedly, could be a twisted combination of spiritual warfare and a hyper real view of good and evil, potentially linked to her perception of her role in a cosmic battle. That is mainstream. I'll tell you that. The war in heaven. Spiritual giants. That's where we heard Thor Fierceth, and even Barry Cox, spiritual giant. Okay, quote, sure, of course. And how is that going to work with you? He's on death row and you are in prison for life, unquote. About Chad. Her unwavering belief that they are still together despite their circumstances could be rooted in a belief that their union is eternal and transcends physical separation. This aligns with the importance of eternal marriage in the doctrine of exaltation, and I'll say within the Church, Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I'll add that. Connections to the document. So reincarnation, while Lori doesn't explicitly mention reincarnation in this interview, her sense of a grand purpose and her ability to rationalize her situation could be linked to a belief in a preordained path, which the Dewey documents connects to the concept of eternal lives. Exaltation. Her messianic. Is this over again? I think it is. No, it's not. Her messianic self-perception, her emphasis on her quote-unquote calling in prison, and her unwavering belief in the eternal nature of her relationship all reflect themes that, in a distorted form, echo the doctrine of exaltation. Important considerations. Distortion. It's crucial to emphasize that Lori Vallow Daybell's beliefs represent a radical and dangerous distortion. Jody Hildebrandt shout out, right? Of the teachings in the documents. The documents themselves do not promote or condone violence or criminal behavior. Individual interpretation. So it says people like Lori and Chad often create their own syncretic belief. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Belief systems, blending and twisting ideas from various sources to fit their narrative. Mental state. It's important to consider the role of mental instability and delusion in shaping these extreme beliefs. So it says, in conclusion, while the interview transcript doesn't provide explicit statements about reincarnation or exaltation, it reveals a mindset that aligns with how those concepts, when dangerously distorted, can contribute to a belief in a divine mission, a dismissal of earthly consequences, and a hyper-real or hyper-religious, right, view of the world. So, oh, well, damn. Anyways, so, oh, right here. Did I say this one already? reality distortion and alternative narrative. Lori maintains her innocence and presents an alternative narrative where she is wrongfully accused, quote unquote. This reflects a potential detachment from reality and an adherence to a self created narrative, which can be a feature of extreme belief systems. In this endurance and testing, she describes her situation as a quote, hard calling, unquote, and emphasizes her willingness to endure hardship, which could be interpreted as a belief that she is undergoing trials to prove her worthiness for a higher state of being. That tracks. Okay. This theme of testing is present in the doctrine of exaltation, which is this other PDF, where mortality is seen as a probationary state, eternal marriage and relationships. Her insistence on her continued relationship with Chad Daybell, despite their circumstances, underscores the importance. Okay, I already said all that earlier. I saw this one. Hold on. I'm about to be done. My mouth is so dry. Oh, right here. Selective empathy and detachment. While expressing concern for the well-being of other inmates, she shows a striking lack of remorse or accountability for her own crimes, referring to the deaths of her children as a family tragedy. I'll say in Charles, right? This selective empathy might indicate a compartmentalization. I think she's a DID, y'all. If I had to, dissociative identity disorder, in my opinion. But I'm not a professional. I'm not diagnosing her. I call her evil bitch, those kind of things. But anyways, this selective empathy might indicate a compartmentalization of her actions, separating them from her perceived divine purpose. So, yeah. All right. Good. I think we covered a lot of ground. What's up? Smudge yourselves after being in the same room, right? Jason was like, we have holy water. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Anyways, children are sacrificed in the LDS church all the time from back in the Elder Russell Ballard days. Yeah. I mean, it really goes back to the beginning of time, y'all. And again, it's like, in my opinion, it's like polygamy. Did it go away? Nah. Still around. Just, this is how we skirt around it, in my opinion. This is how these things, because you can't, they're so slippery and so controversial to, because you can't convict somebody on their beliefs, right? Because it's part of our Constitution, which, might have been on purpose, There's always loopholes. And they find them as well. And they exploit those too, in my opinion. So anyways, I don't think that, it doesn't exist at all. I think that Tylee and JJ are like, this is sacrifice. Okay. This is sacrifice. And it also, well, I mean, oh my God, I hate this. This happens every damn time. I just don't want to, I'm not going to shut one thing completely out just because it's controversial or people see it as conspiratorial. I can't help what other people see. I don't have an agenda here except to explain the actions of Lori and Chad and their friends and their Ruby and Jody, Tom Harrison, I mean, I got it too. I've got 2 copies of this damn book and it sucks. And he gloats inside of this thing. He's talking about astral traveling in here when he's flying over things. And, he can call it a dream. He can call it whatever the hell he wants. I don't care. But I do care whenever Chad Daybell and Julie Rowe were going to Tom Harrison, this guy's book. They were going to his office. He was teaching them how to astral travel. Lori was like, Charles is blocking my gifts. I can't astral travel. Melanie Plasky wouldn't shut the hell up about it. She was all about portaling and astral traveling. So what's really going on? And if anybody knows anything about cults, they're fronts. They are fronts. Okay. They are fronts for some more heinous shit going on in the back room. Okay. So please, I don't know how else to frame that. It just is what it is. I can't, I can just talk to you here about it. Like, I'm not here to, I'm not a QAnon. I'm just like, I don't even know what that is. I've had to learn these things because I'm just like, I'm following the evidence. They're conspiratorial people. I mean, that's where I'm at. I am in scriptures from the Book of Mormon. I'm in Freemasonry. I'm in everywhere. Okay. I'm in satanic ritual abuse. I'm in generational abuse and just bloodlines and all kinds of weird shit that I was never interested in. But I have a mission. Okay. I have I have promises that I made to my murdered family members, okay? And I promised that I would not stop until I hold everyone who has their blood, my family's blood on their hands, till I hold them accountable. And then I was like, that's not realistic because I can't. I saw Melanie Gibbs. She's still free amongst us. All of them, except for Chad and Lori, are free out there doing the do. They're just still out there. No consequences. They're living their best life. Okay. So I kind of, I want to be realistic about it. So I'm going to expose. That's what I've been doing, trying as I'm going through this. I'm just like, I don't know what this is. I've been trying to figure out what this is. I have a really good grip on it. I've traced it as far as money, follow the money, follow the money. I did. There's nowhere else to go. I've gone as high as you can go. Carlos Slim, he's not the richest man in the world anymore as of this year. I think Elon Musk passed him up. I look like I have white milk on my lip. I don't know why they do this every damn live stream. I think I'm just thirsty or dehydrated. So, yeah, and there's dog whistles that Barry even allegedly said. And I'm sorry. This doesn't just come out of nowhere. Lori and Alex, two, not just one sibling, two, and Chad, no graveyards, grave digger, his whole family they dug graves, and I'm not trying to pass shade or anything. I'm just being real. Tammy Daybell was, rating people dark. I don't know. I'm gonna find out what my uncle might have been doing. I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and say they're perfect. People aren't perfect, and especially when you're taught one thing as being righteous, that's even scarier because I believe a lot of that plays into all this is you have people saying, oh no, that's just normal. It's because that's what you're born into. That's what you're taught. You think everybody else is weird, right? Think about Debbie, who was married to Alex Cox. And when she went and met his family and he was doing allegedly simulating sex acts with his sister right there. And Debbie thought that was bizarre, right? Read the room, y'all. Read the room, Alex and Lori, and family. Like, she's not weird, but Alex made her feel like she was weird for thinking that it was weird. So, inversion is all I can say. Inversion and exploitation like none other out of the field. It's a foul ball. It's gone. And that's scary to me because no wonder we have what's going on. It's so backwards. Yep. Yeah. Unless you're we're 95 percenters down here, us scum. Us, you can say dark, you could say zombie. You label it however you want to label it, because you're beneath them. Lori doing this all the time because she's looking down her nose. She's snooty. So yeah, and you have so many people that were unstable in these groups. I can see why they all got together. Yeah, crazy's attracted to crazy. And again, I'll never forget whenever I was not with Jason at this time. I mean, this was years ago. This is like right after JJ was adopted, and Lori and Charles and JJ, the kids came in for a Vallow. We had a late Christmas, but it was like New Year's, so we did like a Vallow Christmas New Year's, 2014, I want to say, I think. And so it was me and now my ex-boyfriend. And I remember like there were some people standing by the bonfire. Like I have a picture of Lori and mom and JJ standing by the bonfire with a full moon in the I'm like, oh, that's very eerie. But and then what the hell? Oh, and my boyfriend at the time, he just in the middle of nothing. I mean, just out of nowhere, he's like, he leaned over and he was like, "That bitch is crazy," and I was like, "What?" He was talking about Lori, and I was like, what are you talking about? Takes one to know one, because he was pretty crazy too, is all I'm saying. And I'm just like, whoa, that is weird. Because I mean, I didn't ask him what his thoughts were on Lori, but out of nowhere, he's just like, that bitch is crazy. And he was right. He was right. Thank you. My earrings, my bait, like fishing lures, huh? Thank you. No, I'm gonna go hydrate because I need to lather it on, right? Thank y'all so much for being here, though. I appreciate you being here. Always taking handouts. Who? Vicky said, oh yeah. How could the Cox family live a charm life? Not being able to pay for their own self. I know they didn't have to, or cars, or insurance, or again. I really think that like Janice, and I did make a little shorter video on this, but reading the documents, the FOIA documents, right? And there's this message from Janice to Alex. And she says in a very condescending, judgmental, in my opinion, way, she's like, "Oh, I love Charles, Alex, oh my gosh, this bothers me." It bothers me. So she says, "I love Charles, he's he turned all the phones back on." I'm paraphrasing. He rented Lori the house right here by all of us or whatever, and no strings attached. No strings attached. And then she was like, "I know, because I have the Holy Spirit with me." She said it a couple times about how the Holy Spirit was with her. And so she knew that she had good discernment, basically, is what to pick up there. Okay. To glean from that. And she, in a very, like, if you're like, it didn't catch me the first time, the second time, the 8th year. I'm just saying, I've looked at this over and over again throughout the years since these FOIA files came out. And I was reading it not long ago, and, a couple months ago. And the way she said that, she assured Alex that she had the Holy Spirit with her, and that she couldn't help that Charles did not have the Holy Spirit with him. And so if you break that down just a little bit, without saying he's dark, or he's a zombie, or his name is Ned, or he's Eplos, or Garrett, or any other dehumanizing label you got to put on there for him to not be human to you, okay? To me, she was saying he was dark without saying he was dark. She was saying that he was a zombie without saying it outright, And so there's a lot more of this, I think, like catching it. I've been going back and reading statements made by the Cox family. I want to say it was I think that this is just me. And look, I'm sorry, I got a little excited. But it feels like to me, as a family member on this side who has followed I've been in this case immersed ever since 2019, July 12th, the day after my uncle was murdered. I've started pulling background checks. I didn't even remember doing that. I've been digging, okay? And I've met these people. I've slept under the same roof as these people. Anyways, so of course I didn't want to think that, I just want to think, yeah, it's just Lori and Chad. They're just crazy. They're just crazy, and they're just doing their own thing. But that's not true. That's not true. And it's a disservice to Tylee, JJ, Charles, Tammy, and Joe. When people are like, it was just a quasi sealing. Well, how do you know that they weren't sealed in the temple? Did they tell you? Were you there? Did the church confirm it and or not and corroborate it? Like, I'm not going to sit here and say for sure it has nothing to do with the damn church and if they maybe practice polygamy still secretly. Okay. I'm not going to vouch for them because I wasn't there and I don't know that for a fact. I know what people tell me. I appreciate what people tell me, but I'm not going to buy it as fact. I wasn't there. This is evidence, y'all. And so it's like I'm going off of what is out there until it can, and I'd love to have it corroborated. I would love to. And the closest I can get to the ceiling in the temple, I don't know. Again, I don't carry a card. I'm not a Mormon. Um, no shade. I'm just saying, are you really sure whenever you're retelling these stories, when you're, somebody's hearing it for the first time and they're just like, oh, they automatically chalk it off. They take the church out of it. Just like Tim Ballard and Elder Ballard, they have the same last name. But in every news article you read on the two who consider each other grandson and grandfather relationship, okay? Everybody, but they put in the article no relation. I mean, do we know that? Or are we just buying it and everybody's just buying onto it and they're just like, oh yeah, well, I saw it over here. No relation. Nothing to see here. I say dig, dig, because where there's smoke, there's fire. And anytime you're volunteering something like that, like what's the point of clarifying that? What is the point of saying Ballard and Ballard, no relation? Mm-mm. So to me, that's sus, especially going with the everything that I've learned about Tim Ballard and Elder Ballard and this network of people. And it is a network, and I am still working on that, y'all. I do need help doing that because I don't really, I mean, I'm looking at Jody Hildebrandt, the lawsuit that was filed against Connections, Classroom, Pam Botcher, Ruby Frankie, and Jody Hildebrandt. And it's a network. And that's basically, it's like this abuse that's going on, and it's human trafficking. Okay. It's like transformed into this network thing, in my opinion. It's just kind of being labeled as something a little different, than SRA, basically. So that's just me. I don't quote me on that, but it just kind of appears that way. And there was a network. There is a network, and it's a network that enabled and basically did hand my family up for sacrifice, and have I mean, dug their heels in throughout this entire process. None of these circle jerks, okay? None of them have been forthcoming. It's all been because they had to, they had to testify. Melanie Gibb, her ass was grass, right? She had to hurry up and do some backstroking big time, okay, and to throw Lori and Chad under the bus to save herself, okay? That's what this is. And they do this misinformation, disinformation, and there's an enterprise here. And I didn't realize that until that lawsuit came out against Ruby and Jody and friends. And I was like, holy crap, this is RICO all the live long day. All the live long day. So, right, Salty? It's like, this is a freaking RICO case, straight up. So the closest I'm going to get to holding any of these assholes accountable for just being so, I mean, if not hands-on, allegedly, if not actually being there, participating in these ritualistic sacrifices, aka murders. All right, it's called criminal charges. It's called felonies. It's called your ass going to prison. Okay, it's called it's a sin also. Okay, I don't care. It's a human right violation. It's wrong. So these are kids. They were two children. And these people partook. And I'm using that word on purpose. Partook. They partook. And they continue to. And they're not going to continue boasting and getting God points, allegedly, okay, from the entity that they worship, okay? Because they're calling, anyways. I'm just saying they're not going to sit here and stand on a soapbox and be like, "Oh, God chose me for this." I just had to be there. None of these people helped Tylee and JJ children. They did not help children at all. If anything, they partook. There you go. If anybody wanted to know how I feel, that's how I feel. So, anyways, working on a RICO. Okay. And if I'm not like, if it's statute of limitation, all the things, like I still have to talk with an attorney about this because I want to get it together. I'm the only one, as far as I know, for my mom, or from my side of the family for sure, that went this angle. I didn't know where I was going. Don't know where this goes. Okay. It just goes down every bizarre religious rabbit hole that Lori has chased down to. And there are plenty. So I just want, if I can't actually file it or do whatever I got to do, I'm going to hand it to somebody who can. So it's going to be coming. Okay. I prophesy. Okay. I'm a visionary. So, I mean, I'm just a niece. I'm Charles's niece and I am JJ's aunt. I'm usually not qualified as, close enough relation or whatever, just to even go to a grief group. So I'm just saying. K-hole wouldn't doubt it. Oh, you must be talking to somebody. It is a friggin' religious rabbit hole, y'all. It's crazy. And so I'm like, this bizarre religious rabbit hole brought to you by, right? Anyways, because there are plenty. I'm like Oprah. I'm not like Oprah. Let me take that back. You get hit in the head with a bat. Why would you take the time to put amen, right? And with your flip-flops, your jailhouse flip-flops. I'm just saying, nope. No. And I mean, again, from the FOIA docs, the Charles was tested. Lori and Alex were all tested for latent fingerprints on the bat, the Rawlings bat, not Tylee, right? So they didn't even include her. Isn't that interesting? Just that tidbit right there. And they also tested it for DNA, but they didn't have the results back. You could like obtain them. I don't know. I'm just here. I'm a layman. And they said that they got 2 fingerprints off of it, and it was redacted where it said Alex and Lori, but Charles, it said that they came back inconclusive. So I haven't even Googled it to know for sure what that even means. I know, y'all. I want him to talk. I want to hear from Gabe. Why wouldn't he want to? These are the people we're dealing with, is what I'm saying. People who had nothing to do with this, if they honestly had nothing to do with this. You're not this scared of cops. You're a freaking bishop, okay? Get your friends with a freaking cop. Best friend. You're in business partners with a cop. Gabe Bonilla, Jason Mao. Okay, so stop. And these are kids. That's what I'm saying. It's opposite. You don't get people who are like, oh, hell no. What you need to know. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I did not know what I was caught up in. And I'm so sorry. Is there anything I can do to help? I don't know how to make this better. That's the reactions I'm looking for. And I don't see that nowhere. I'm like, nowhere is gone. So didn't Tylee grab the bat at first? That's the story. So they didn't even test her for that. I don't know if it's because she's a minor or they were just like, were the police thinking that it was a bogus story? I don't, it's interesting. I just thought about that when I said that part, that they didn't include Tylee in the testing of the bat. That's the whole thing. It's a youth size bat as well. Also, and I'm sure mom will testify to this, and we've kept this under locks and it's not that big of a deal, but my uncle was ambidextrous. So but he was a shitty, like he could pitch with his left, but he had to, I want to say, bat with his right. I don't know. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I don't think it's even going to go to that. I really don't. And again, what did Alex do? Say, okay, stop, Charles, put the bat down. Okay, hold on. Let me go to my sister's little spare room over here, the hobo hotel, and let me go retrieve my weapon with deadly, it's deadly force. He it was a concealed carry. He took the classes, right? He earned his rights back after attacking Joe. He even told Debbie, his ex-wife, his first wife, and I love her, right? See something, say something. She's the perfect person for that. So anybody who downs her and says that she's doing this for for like, what the hell? Who would want to say they were married to Alex Cox first off? Is what I'm saying. Okay, I'm so sorry, Debbie, if you're ever here. I'm so sorry. And thank you for calling. Thank you for being a model of you see something, say something, because her reporting to the police filled in so many blanks for me. So many blanks. So don't be telling people to, if they see something, say something, and then bitch at them and say they're just doing it for clout. Okay. That's not how this works. You're funny. Just kidding. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, are those law enforcement? Are they LDS members? I always thought that, I mean, it could be. It could be. It could be. It could be. I mean, you got to look at other affiliations. Like, are they Freemason? Do they belong to the fraternal orders? I mean, there's all the things. I've learned it's not just Boy Scouts. Like Chad was a Eagle Scout. I'm not saying anything bad about it, Jesus, but I will not send my kids to no kind of Boy Scout. No, ma'am. I mean, there's just different things, organizations that they can be involved in and go to church together. So think about that. It's crazy. I mean, Tim Ballard is a Knights Templar. He was knighted in 2015. Y'all, I think this is my karma. Not Carmex, karma. Because every week is what we do. It's like dry. I don't even put lipstick on anymore because it does that anyways. Oh man. First world problems, right? Is what I'm saying. So yeah, it was a boo-boo. It was just a little, I'm not either. Oh yeah, I think that too. I think that a knife or whatever, that might have been what took him so long, so he could just make it bleed enough or something. And another thing, I caught this not long ago either, but whenever they first arrive on the scene, the police, and Alex Cox, he's like, he knows what to say. He calls with his story already ready, like, I shot my brother-in-law in self-defense. What'd he do? Again, put his sunglasses on and his flip-flops, a tussle. Nobody says tussle who's a real man. Anybody, please, if you're a real man, please don't say tussle. I have laughed and just made fun of that because I'm just like, hello, tussle. It's so like, I'm sorry. I'm being really out there, but I do apologize. It never tracked for me and my family. Pretty much, I don't speak for them, but I can speak for me. And I was like, nope. He was ambushed. He was murdered straight up. Oh my god. And there's a lot of premeditation. You don't put Xanax in your husband. You don't put medication in anybody's drink. First off, okay. This is why my daughter, she's 20, and I'm just like, if you go to the bar, when you go to the bar, right? I'm like, don't put your drink down. Don't. It's like, here you go. Inviting it. Don't do it. If you do that, don't drink it again. I don't care if it's your last damn dollar and your last damn drink. You better leave. Call me. Like, don't do that. There are opportunists out there waiting, and they go where there's opportunity, and they prey upon vulnerable people who are unsuspecting. Okay. Like good people at church, even like they're preying on the good people. They're preying on our empathy and our compassion. And they study this, and they exploit every aspect if they can, if you let them. Okay. So that's just me. It's so feminine, yes, for lack of a better word. Totally premeditated. I can't even talk. Totally premeditated, deliberate, infliction of pain. They put him through hell. It's chaos. It's straight chaos, in my opinion. And that's part of the confusion with their little bippity boppity boo and the exorcisms that they were freaking. Okay, first off, can we just say that wasn't it Catholics that were doing the exorcisms? I mean, again, I've done my research, I've tracked it back. Joseph Smith has done this before. I think Garth even testified to this a little bit, but he said John Pryor was like, "But did that man die?" And he was like, "No." Well, that's because they didn't kill him. Okay. He was just trying to kill the demon or eradicate the. I don't know. I wasn't there. Again, I was not there. I wasn't there, so I don't. I'm not going to vouch until I do my own damn research. I used to do this. This is how you get people to buy on to this crap, like Lori. Don't talk to Charles because he cheated on me. Yeah, I found the proof. Big generalizations, you saw it. It's on my phone, and she's the one that's creeping, which for sure the detectives did say in the report about the Chandler report that Charles was not cheating. So just don't even go in there expecting to hear that. If so, I'm going to be like, what? And I kind of was like, I hope the hell he did. I hope the hell he did. Kind of, oh, thank you, MMF. I appreciate that. Thinking of you and your family. Hugs. I appreciate that. Thank you. Carolina says, dang, I tell my 4 sons not to put their, don't. Even if you're a guy, please, nobody put your drinks down because opportunistic people laying in wait, right? They're sheep. I'm sorry, they're whatever, wolves in sheep clothing, waiting. And I'm not trying to scare anybody either, but just be aware, self-aware. How many times have you walked out of the freaking store and you're just looking at your phone, whatever. We all do this, okay? And the moment we become complacent, change your route every now and then. That's all. And I'm horrible about that. And, a little lanyap right here. Most of you guys know, but I live on Cox Road. Okay, for what it's worth. I live on Cox Road. And that is a coincidence. But none of these other things are coincidences at all. We're not coincidence theorists either, I left my beer for 1 minute, for like 1 minute only time, right? And think about the fentanyl and stuff like that. Like, I'm bad enough to myself. I'm not trying to have any help unknowingly. And I mean, think of Diddy, like all that stuff with Diddy and all the things. And then I watched Ashley Banfield's series on Peter Nygaard, and that's Tim Ballard and Mel Gibson. They all buds. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Not today, Satan. Satan's plural. Thank you so much again. All right, y'all. We're gonna see y'all in the morning. I'm tired. My voice. I've been talking a lot. I had to do the hookerella's freaking. I didn't have to, but thank y'all for doing that because I register things when I read the words. Some days it's better. Most days it's not, but some days it's better, and it helps me practice, right? So, all right, I'm a little nervous. I think it starts at 1 p.m. Central. Let me look at it so I'm not like just guessing because it's right here. I need to change my aspect so you can see allegedly. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me clean that up a little bit. Okay, come on. So, right here, opening statements, April 7th, 2025. Day, I don't know if this is going to be marked as day 1 or not. So, that's tentative, but complete trial coverage. And so, 11 a.m. Pacific, Arizona time is when opening statements happen. So, it's not in the morning. Noon, Mountain time, 1 p.m. Central. Here in Louisiana, we're Central. And Donna's time too. So 2 p.m. Eastern. So I think I'm going to schedule it for like 30 minutes ahead of time. We can just, whatever. We can, dearly beloved, we were gathered here today to make sure this hooker is held accountable, right? 2 p.m. your time. All right. So be there, be square. No, I do appreciate if you do come by. It does help. Those mega channels, they're going to grow and grow. And they're growing now. And so I really appreciate it. Like me, Megan, other family members' channels, try to support the family members. That's my advice. And I mean, I know I'm a family member, but this is not easy. And these channels, I watch them start and then, pew, okay. And I'm just like, whoa. I'm still over here like, what the hell just happened? And then, sometimes they forget about you. And I'm not throwing shade. I'm just saying I'm proud of them. They do good work, whatever, but it just, sometimes you're in the dust or overshadowed, or, you know what I mean? I don't think it's on purpose. It's just I guess it's just freaking YouTube. I don't know. It's just the way it goes. But, lift those, Colby, lift them up. It helps. It really does. It makes a difference. It really makes a difference. I couldn't do this. I wouldn't have done this unless y'all were here. Each week, every week. Again, I think I've done over 850 something live videos, or 850. I got a lot of videos here over the span. I've been here for sure every week. And it's sometimes more than that. Sometimes I made videos, but that's a lot. I love you guys. I do. Thank y'all so much. Let me hush because I'm just going to ramble. Okay. Deep breath. All right. Love always wins. How's that go? Play ball. I mean, yeah, Uncle Charles even said that to Lori. He's like, one more family you wreck, basically. That'll be a home run or grand slam. I forget what he said. I have to go back and look. Anyways, I love you guys too. Hey, Hughes. I see what you're saying now. I get it. I'm glad you're here, though. I really am. I'm glad to see you. Yeah. And I will. I promise. I was about to say, take care of yourself, but if we all just sweep around our porch, huh? But anyways, thank you. Thank you. And Trace, I'm going to send you my credentials. So follow me on X, Twitter, and it'll be Trace, though. But she'll, I think, be under my name. And let's build that up, too. And if anybody will throw in, she's not asking for it, Venmo, lunch, a Kit Kat bar. She's going to need some breaks. Okay. Right. So if you want to, you don't have to. It's not expected. She's not asking. I'm asking. Okay. So justice for Charles, Tylee, Tammy, JJ, and Joe. I just said it out of order, y'all. Love always wins. And they're the proof. You are too, but they're the proof. It may not end. I mean, it may not seem like love wins. How did it win for Charles and the kids and Tammy and Joe? It's making it count. It's with every breath, for sure. In the end, it will. God wins. Love always wins. It's the same concept. They go hand in hand. I don't know. He's the one that said it. So I'm just saying, I'm just trying to apply it. And you guys just exhibit it. So thank you. Love always wins.